Ever since I started creating content, people have reached out to me both publicly or directly saying stuff like, hey, do you realize you might be autistic? Or do you know for sure whether or not you're autistic? And the answer is no, I don't know. And the truth is, I refuse to get diagnosed. So in this episode of the Input Cafe podcast, we are going over the reasons why I made that choice and what it means for me. So welcome back, and if you're new here, my name is Paula, and the purpose of my YouTube channel is to help you acquire languages without spending a dime. But the purpose of this specific podcast is to provide language learners with a very specific type of content which fits into the category of everyday English. And that's why on this podcast, I talk about pretty much everything. So today I'm discussing the reasons why I refuse to get diagnosed with autism at the age of 41. So the first time I got a comment on my TikTok video from someone pointing out that I might be autistic, my reaction was something along the lines of, so what? I wasn't sure what to do with that comment. So I just politely replied that no, I wasn't autistic and thank you very much, but sorry, you're wrong. But then more comments started rolling in. And at that point, my TikTok profile was pretty big. I mean, I was probably at the point where I had 100,000 followers and I had to turn off my DMs because there were too many and I couldn't answer all of them. So I made it harder for people to reach out to me, but yet they were bending over backwards to find a way to get in touch with me and tell me that I needed to do something about my autism. When it's only 5 people telling you that you're autistic, you can kind of dismiss it as them seeing things. But when it's 100 people telling you the same thing, there's a chance they might be onto something. And some of those people reaching out to me were really kind. Some of them were less kind. At some point, I had to tell somebody, look, you might be right. And that person got so offended by my refusal to get a diagnosis. And they said that I was hurting the autism community. So this person was insisting that I should get diagnosed so I could come out as autistic and turn my TikTok account into a platform for autistic language acquisition, which is never going to happen. So my first reason for not wanting to get a diagnosis is that I don't need to please anyone with my autism if I am autistic. I don't need to become a spokesperson for the autism community. I don't even know if I belong to that community. I don't even know if there is a community. My second reason is that I don't think it will make my life any better. Whatever it is that makes me different is something that I don't need to put a label on. I can always find better ways of coping with the challenges that autism might bring, but I've had a pretty easy life. Maybe not. Okay, maybe not. But the second reason for not wanting to get diagnosed is that I'm not a child trying to navigate childhood with the struggles of a severely autistic child. I don't even know if that's a correct term. And if it's not, please accept my apologies. But I'm an adult. I have a very satisfying career. I have a very, very satisfying and fulfilling family life. I don't want to put a label on my struggles. I have human struggles, and if those struggles fall into the category of autism, so be it. I don't need to know, and I don't think it will change the way I cope. Having a diagnosis might explain why I do certain things or how I relate to some issues in a different way, but it will not change the fact that that's who I am, and I don't really care. I have autistic people in my life, and I deeply care about them and their struggles, and a diagnosis was very much needed in their case. The third reason, and please hear me out here, I am not talking about autistic people being a burden. God forbid, I'm not. I'm talking about myself potentially becoming a burden to the Italian healthcare system because I don't need a diagnosis. And me seeking one means that I'm adding extra weight to the already slow bureaucracy, and it's also money for the taxpayers. And if something is not needed, I don't think you should be doing it just for the sake of it. Now let's paint this picture where for some reason somebody forces me to get diagnosed and I finally know for sure that I am in fact autistic. I don't think I would be talking about these things on my social media platform. This is not a social media platform. Once again, YouTube and TikTok are not social media platforms. Anyways, I don't think it is relevant to my motivation for being here and creating content. I'm here to help you learn languages. And it is true that several autistic people have reached out to me to say that finally they found a method. I'm talking about my protocol here, my language acquisition protocol. They're learning a language because my protocol flipped a switch and they're finally acquiring a language. And this doesn't change the fact that my protocol is for anyone who wants it, who wants to apply it. And I wouldn't change the way I communicate and present my protocol just because now I'm autistic and I am the autistic language guru. I'm not. So if there's one thing that I want you to take home, or that I would like for you to take home from this episode, is that just because something might be true, it doesn't mean you need to know for sure. And I'm not talking about ignorance or, ignorance is bliss, or, you don't know, so you're better off not knowing. It's just that sometimes you don't need to know. And I am one of those who advocate for essential things. I love things that are essential. And if something is not essential in my life and I don't need it for my personal growth, or I don't need it for my spiritual well-being, or from my family's sake, I will not pursue that thing. Well, aren't you curious? Don't you want to know? Don't you want to find out whether or not you're autistic, or whether or not you are gifted? Somebody also pointed that out, but I don't really want to know. And the last reason is that it takes a lot of effort and time, and it's time consuming. And I don't want to spend hours taking tests, answering questions. It's also boring to me. It's also very boring. That's the reason why I've never finished one of those IQ tests. I just get so bored. So these are my 4 reasons for not wanting to get diagnosed with autism at 41. And if you are in a situation that's similar to mine, whether you're suspecting that you are autistic, are you seeking a diagnosis? And if yes, why? And if not, why? Please share your reasons with me in the comment section. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening.